What up, people? It's Nickopz here, and today I'm going to be making a brand new tier list because I feel like it is about that time. From the last time I made a tier list, which was my return video, we have got a major balance patch and a whole new character. Sorry about the video slowdown for a bit. It was my birthday on the 14th, and I was just taking a little break from making videos, and also the Omni-Man hype died for me real quick. He just simply doesn't play like I thought he was gonna play in the combat cast, and that taught me a lesson again to not get hype from combat cast only. Just wait till you get your hands on the character. And I kind of knew that was gonna be the case. Like it could be the case, and that was definitely the case for me because I don't like Omni Man at all. Doesn't mean there's gonna be any bias when I rate him. It's just I personally do not like the character. I do think he's designed well, just not personally for me. And another thing, I really never talk about stuff like this, but I realize we have newer people to the channel now with the release of MK1, and I want to talk about why I personally feel like it's okay to listen to my tier list. You know, since we have some newer people here, I'll just go over how I feel about that because somebody, if he would have asked it in a respectful manner, it would have been different. But somebody on one of my last tier list videos was like, well, why should we listen to your tier list? And he asked it in a rude way, so he got a rude response. But because he didn't just ask it like that, he said it in a different way. But I'm gonna go over why personally I feel like my tier lists are good. Now, if you just want to go off of player skill, in almost in actually every fighting game I've touched, I've either been top 100 or top 0.1% online. And just to name a couple of those fighting games, it's MK10, Injustice 2, Dragon Ball Fighters, which sucks, MK11, which sucks, Guilty Gear Strive, Street Fighter 6. Every fighting game I get into, if I like it, then I try to go for top 100. It's just how I have fun. I have a goal, something to get to. That's just, what I like to do. Now, if you just like to go off of player skill, that's that. I also hit Elder God with a record of 115 and with 115 wins and 36 losses. The proof that I hit Elder is right there. Now, that's just for people who just want to go off of player skill. I'm not the type that likes to brag and boast about stuff like that. But like I said, we have newer people here, so I just wanted to go over that. Also, I don't feel like you should completely go off of that, even personally. I've seen plenty of good people that make very terrible tier lists. And I personally feel like that is because, they don't have a broad view of the game. Why I personally feel like I make good tier lists is because I feel like I have a very good broad view of the game. I watch high level gameplay. I can play at high level gameplay. I watch mid level gameplay. I fight all skill levels. I don't just go off like what a lot of people do is like the very, very tip top of players, they'll only fight the same couple of people. And I don't feel like that's a good way to get a broad view on a tier list. I like to rate tier lists from out of 10, from like five, like the level 5 level of players, and 10. I don't go off of like the lower levels. I don't really think that matters when it comes to the tier list. But mid to high level, that's what I go off of. And I don't feel like a lot of people go off that. I go off like mid, high level, and pro level. I feel like people only make tier lists based on themselves, and I don't think that's a good way to make tier lists. So now that I've gotten the intro out of the way, a little longer than I wanted it to be, let's get into the tier list. Now, the first character we have is Johnny. I actually have made a whole video on this character. This character is broken. I can count on my hand how many characters I've put in broken tier over all these fighting games I've played, but I can confidently say Johnny is broken. He is just simply unfair to fight, and he has too many things that are like just the best in the game or some of the best in the game. Like his jump in is crazy, his pressure is crazy, his mix ups are crazy, his movement is crazy, his buttons are crazy. And Johnny players will still sit up here and downplay this character. And I'm not gonna argue with you. You know how when somebody says something like so stupid, like you don't even like go back and forth with them because it was so dumb. That's how I feel about people downplaying Johnny. If you think Johnny is fine, in my mind, you just don't know what you're talking about and you're simply wrong. So I can't even bring myself to that level to want to go back and forth with somebody over this character. I can make a whole nother rant on how broken this character is and disgustingly broken he is. Like his only one weakness is eliminated by cameo assist. And he is the only character in the game that doesn't even need an assist to beat you consistently. Like he is a broken character, without a doubt the best. If you disagree, argue with the wall. Like I usually don't get about that. I usually don't get like that with stuff like this, but I'm not gonna do this with Johnny because I see people going back and forth on Twitter about this character all the time and arguing with other people in YouTube comments. I'm not gonna argue with you about Johnny. He's broke. If you disagree, I just flat out disagree with you. Like with other characters, I'll be like, okay, I can see this or that, or we might can change this or that, but no, Johnny, absolutely not. Best character in the game. He's good at too many things. I made a whole video on him, and let me stop before I go into a whole nother rant. Now we have Kenshi. Now, Kenshi, I've talked about him a lot, but to sum up Kenshi, he is a character that is hard to play, and he is very good and very like dumb as well. When he has Sento out, when it's him and his second stance and Sento out, he is like right here. To be honest, when that Sento is loaded, fresh up, ready to go, he is around here. But the fact is, he's not around there all that time. Kenshi really has three different forms. He has Sento form, where it's him and Sento. He has him in that form without Sento, which is not a good character. When he's in that other form without Sento, he is not good. And then he has base form. When he's in base form, I'll say he's like somewhere around this realm. When he's in that form where he doesn't have Sento, I think he's like right here. He's not really that great. But when he has Sento out, he's right here. But the fact is, he's not, he's a stance character, so he's not going to be in his best form all the time. He's a character that can just repeatedly hit you with safe plus armor breaking 50/50s, and it's just insane. I personally feel like Kenshi should be the best character in the game. People argue about like characters being the best, and they go back and forth over tier lists all the time. But what people have to realize, there has to be a best. And if there had to be a best, I wouldn't mind it being Kenshi. Simply for the fact that, because he's hard to play, most people are not going to play him anyways. And I feel like that's going to gatekeep a lot of tier whores from just picking him up, unlike broken S plus plus tier Johnny, where everybody and their mama could just play the character. You can't do that with Kenshi. That's why, even though Kenshi is like almost as good as him, you don't see as many Kenshis. So I wouldn't mind Kenshi being the best. That's just me personally. So up next we have, now this could go either way. I'm just gonna put them both there now. We got Kung Lao, and then we have Ashrah. I personally feel like you can swap these two characters right here, but I definitely feel like these characters are a part of the new top four. I feel like, so we'll get to Ashrah first, because this is my personal order. I feel like Ashrah is here, but if you want to swap Lao as top three, I wouldn't mind it. So Ashrah is an amazing, straightforward, like more on the basic side character. She has very amazing neutral buttons, really good confirms with Serena. With Serena, she's just amazing. Like it's Serena that puts her here, in my opinion. And sure, she doesn't have full screens on him, but Serena fixes that. She has very plus projectiles, a whole nother stance that she can use to oppress you. And her main stance, she is like in the mid range oppressing you. She has really good 50/50s because she has a high low, which is a fuzzy block breaker. If you don't know what that is, that breaks people's guards who try to react to 50-50s. If you have an overhead, a low, and a high low, your 50-50s can be unreactable. So a lot of people don't know that. I should probably make a whole nother video on that. But yeah, Ashrah has amazing 50-50s, amazing damage, amazing buttons. She is a very good character, in my personal opinion. And I can definitely understand why people think she's this strong. And it's because she is one of the best defensive options in the game as well. Just a very good, solid character. Not solid. She's a very good top tier character. The solid characters are around the A plus A tier. She has a lot of great tools. So then we want to get to Lao. Lao is a character. I don't want to offend people, but there are some people that like to just play. I don't want to call it bad, but they're more on the random side. You could still be a good player and play kind of random. And that's what I think Lao is. If you are a person that I like to call it like a feeling type player. Like if you just feel something, you do it. You don't like to think. I'm not trying to offend loud players. I'm really not. But if you know you just feel stuff and you just like want to do it, you don't play by the book. Lau's the perfect character for you. He completely like ignores the mid range. Like you don't have to worry about getting in because he whiffs one dive kick. He's in. Then you got to guess a full screen launching armor move. Then you got he has amazing 50-50s with Goro because he can just hit you with a low sweep or overhead to a full combo. He also has a high low and an overhead. He doesn't have a low though. So if he wants to hit you with a low, he has to do a string. He has a good mid into overhead and a good mid low. He has very good armor breaking, very good damage. He is a S plus tier character. I feel like a lot of people don't think he is, but in this game, he definitely is. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people don't think he is, but I don't feel like he's talked about enough, even though everybody knows how good he is. They just don't really mention it or bring it up a lot. And he's kind of like the silent top tier, honestly. Like we all know how good Lao is, but he doesn't really get recognized as being that good. Up next, we have Geras, and this will complete the top 5. I feel like Geras is amazing, and I feel like Geras is kind of downplayed in this game. But I get why people don't see how good he is. I've made a whole video talking about Geras, and I just feel like he's underrated for how complex he is. In MK11, he was very easy and straightforward, just like the straightforward top tier when the game first came out. But he's honestly more complex in this game. I guarantee that there's a move a Geras player could do right now if you were watching one that you wouldn't even know he had that, or you don't even know what it does. So I think he's one of the more complex characters in the game, and I completely understand if you don't see the strength of him right now. But when people like finally are completely comfortable with him, I feel like people will see it. His tools are just really good. He has good 50-50s, got the overhead split, the high overhead, the double low string, which also breaks fuzzy guards, double lows and high lows. His zoning is lackluster, but you can slap an assist on and be fine. Kung Lao assist is the best for him. So he gets 50% one bar B&Bs. Like, I'm really trying to like not keep going into him that deep because there's another video I have about the character, but he is completely like, I wouldn't say overtuned, but his tools are amazing, and there's a reason I don't have him as an S plus tier. I do think he's just S tier. I don't want to like overrate him myself or anything. I don't think he's up here with them, but I definitely do think by default he's top 5 because how good he is. He just has really everything you need. Like if you just want a basic top tier character, but you got to put in some work a bit with him. He's not as straightforward as somebody like Johnny Asher or Lau. You got to put in the work to reap the rewards of Geras, and I feel like that's something a lot of people just don't want to do. They'll just probably just play somebody like Johnny. Yes, it's another dig at Johnny. This is a Johnny hate channel now. Screw that character. He needs to be nerfed. But anyways, Tanya. She is up next. I feel like Tanya is a very great character. Her pressure is insane. She has one of the best mids in the game, one of the best wake ups in the game, and what this character can do to you a lot of other characters really can't because they don't have really impressive tools like she does. She has, she pairs very well with Goro, and she's just all around a really reliable character to pick. She is not as straightforward as, most characters, but she is, I would put her as intermediate. She's not very hard to play, but she's not like derp easy as well if you're like a new player. But if you know what you're doing, you can pick her up and do just fine. I feel like she's the type of like character a lot of people just won't play because how she plays, but she's really good. And I recommend if you haven't tried her, give her a try to see if you like her. Her literal only flaw is damage. If you played Injustice 2, she's like the Supergirl of the game. All the tools in the world, but no damage. As simple as that. Slap a Goro assist on her and you'll do fine. Now, this is one character I recently just saw the light on, and that is Kitana. Kitana, I actually picked this character up myself because recently I would say she's definitely not like one of my mains or anything, but I picked her up so I could see for myself because people were talking about this character, and they were of course at first not really saying nothing, saying she was like lower on the tier, and even me, even though I'm pretty sure in the tier list I said I wasn't sure about her like that, she is a character that is completely like just, oh, that actually reminded me. I'm gonna have to make a link to this part. These are the characters. This is the character I'm not sure about, like list right here. So all of these characters right here, I'm still not 100% sure on, or like, confident in the pick like I am about everybody else. So I'm gonna make a link to this in the comments below so people can see this. So yeah, let me just throw that in there. And Kitana is one of them. I do think she is strong, but I feel like we don't know how strong yet because people just simply don't know how to fight her. But she has very good tools. First of all, like her damage is amazing. She has a really good mid. She has a probably the best jump in the game. It's really hard to anti-air it. She has amazing synergy with Jax, where she can basically get a lot of unblockables for free. Her zoning is not as good as people think. It's good if you have Sub-Zero assist, but the zoning is just fine. It'll get the job done. It's really done with Sub-Zero assist though. She has really good pressure. It's harder for her to open you up, but the tools she has make you not want to press a button back because she can trade and just hurt you way more than you can hurt her. I feel like Kitana has always been a very unique, interesting character that doesn't really have a for sure archetype because she's never just a zoner. No matter how much people want to like classify her as that, she's never just a zoner at all. And I can't wait to see what people, do with her now that more people are picking her up because people are starting to recognize how good she is. And I am people because I'm one of those people that finally see it now too. I think she is very good. And yeah, like I said, can't wait to see what people do with her. Up now we have, now I this is personally one of my hated characters. I don't really hate anybody like besides Johnny up here, but I hate this character. Still, it's not gonna be biased when it comes to her, but where is she? Where's this stupid character? Lee May. I can't stand this character. If there's one thing that like gets to me, it's a downplayed character that is like not talked about and people act like they're like mid. This character is not freaking mid. Like this character is amazing. I actually think like she's the second I mean if you want to count Lao, but she's a top 3 rushdown character in the game. When they finally nerf this abomination, like all of these Johnnies are going to run to like probably like Lao or her. She's freaking dumb. Like I don't understand why she's not talked about. Her plus frames like crazy. 50%'s like nothing. You can't jump on her because the lantern. She has really solid zoning. Yeah, you could duck it, but that's conditioning. She gets all that free space. Like 50-50 is like crazy. Like a dumb jump in, like dumb air mobility. Like, she doesn't have to play any type of neutral. Like, she is one of the most scrubby characters in the game. And like, I just don't like this character. Personally, like, she's very annoying to fight. And if she was recognized as being like up here or right here instead of like right here, it wouldn't bother me so much. But no, this character is insane. Like, this character is not bad or mid at all. Like, she's freaking dumb. Like, I don't understand why she's not being played more. I really just don't get it. So I can make a whole video on that character. I probably still will because she's so downplayed. Another character. Now, I was scared to rate this character. If you watched my video, you know who I'm talking about. That is Liu Kang. And I'm still afraid to rate this character. He's actually in this list over here where these are the people that could be better, I think, than my Raiden. And he's the one character I think that could still be worse. I'm going to put him right here. Feel like it's safe to put him right here. He's really hard to rate. Because honestly, and I'm being so serious, Liu could end up being right here. Like, he really could. Honestly, but I'm going to just still keep my mouth shut on him. I'm not going to say too much on him because I honestly still don't know. I made a whole video on rating this character. You got to watch that video if you need to understand why I'm scared to rate this character, because I genuinely am. I don't want to rate this character because, matter of fact, I'm thinking about just making a whole nother I don't know list or just leaving them down here. But no, I'm just messing around. I'll safely put him right here. I'm not going to talk about him that much though, because like I said, I still feel like it's too soon. Watch the video so you can understand why I'm acting this way. Now we have Reiko. Reiko, I don't understand why we have a character who is potentially the best zoner. Actually, let me go over. No, it's not Ashrah. It's not Tanya. It's not Kitana. Yeah, it's not Luke. Reiko is the best zoner in the game. And the best grappler in the game. Because it's not Geras. The only other grappler up here. And he is the best zoner and grappler, to put it that way. Like, Geras has a command grab, but it's not as good as Reiko's command grab. Like, these three characters in front of him have good zoning, but it's not good as his zoning. Character is just simply made for like grapplers who don't care. You know how I was talking about Lao, people that like to play like that? Reiko, that goes hand in hand. He's just a crazy good character with really good projectiles, a really good command grab, really good 50-50s that don't lead to damage, and kind of really good space control as well. If you just like the basic, like, if you're like the basic type boots to the ground like player who wants just some basic good and top tier and easy, Reiko is the way to go. Like, he is just good and lazy, kinda. Just keeping it real. But I don't personally have a problem with the character. It's just how he's designed. I've never seen a character besides like Broly and Dragon Ball Fighters that was the best grappler and the best zoner. So yeah, that pretty much. Now, this tier right here, stopping right here, I think this is like the best in the game. Had to mute my mic for a bit, a little horn outside, but this is the best tier in the game right here. I feel like any one of these characters like can win a tournament, like, no problem if the player skill is there. I feel like this is your best tier. If you want to play one of the better characters in the game that are for sure one of the better characters, then you pick one of them. So then we have, let me find her right here, Sindel. Now, Sindel is another one on my I'm not sure list, because the way that I've been hearing people talk about this character lately, she could be like right here. Like, honestly. Now, I'm not sure if this person's going to stick to this, but I recently, like just now, not even like 30 minutes ago, saw Sonic Fox talking about this character, saying that this character was going to be his new main. Like, he's confident in this character like he was confident in Rain, and I personally feel like this character could actually be really strong. Like, with Lao assist, I think she's amazing, but that's the problem where I put her here, is because I only think she's really, really, really good with Lao assist. And after that assist gets nerfed, then we're not gonna be too like sure on where to put it, like where to put her. Like I don't know. Like I really feel like you can argue like she's up here because her tools are good, armor breaking like crazy. The only character in the game that can like combo break your combo break. She has really good mobility, solid zoning, like solid mid range buttons. But her set play with Kung Lao assist is dumb. Like I really feel like you can put her up here, but there's so many characters. She's one of the main characters I feel like that gets carried by Lao assist. And if you just get absolutely carried by one assist, it's really hard for me to rate you higher. I still will though. Like Lao. Lao is this dumb because of Goro assist, and his tools are amazing. And he could even be done with his own assists, like Kung Lao, Kung Lao. And I do. That's why I do feel like you can argue that she's up here, but I personally feel like she's just right here for now. I feel like this is a safe spot to put her, but I'm still not that sure about her, as you can see right here. Now, we're gonna go ahead and start throwing in a couple at a time because I don't want this tier list to be too long. So, let's go ahead and see who we have up next. We're gonna just place three of them here and then talk about them. So let's go ahead and get him here. We got Smoke. Then we have Molina. And then we have Omni-Man. Then we're gonna play some more. Then we have Rain. And we're gonna talk about all these characters right here. So to quickly go over Molina, because I feel like there's not that much to go on about her. She's a character that I would say stocks have fallen the most in my eyes. When I first, got into the game and everything, I thought she was like right here, honestly. But I really don't feel like she is all that. You want to know what's something funny that I just now noticed that I really can talk about now? All these four characters right here are carried by Lao assist. Like Sindel, Molina, Smoke, and not as much. We're gonna get into him, but not as much as him. But and Omni Man, but it's still too soon for Omni Man. Kung Lao assist completely like can up these characters like a little bit around here, but I don't think they're naturally there overall as characters. So let's get into talking about Molina. Molina is a very interesting character. She has, I think they wanted her to be like a in between the string like mix up character like Johnny, but she just doesn't work that way because honestly her low string is really bad. Her high low string is not good. Her damage is good. Her neutral is not that good, but she's meant to just ignore it kinda. She has a teleport and of course the ball roll into assist if she wants to. I feel like this character is gonna get better over time, but I feel like another thing she's just carried by Lysis. Like Lysis is great on her because it gives her a way in and makes her zoning actually threatening. Like I feel like they like purposely held this character back. Like everything I see about this character, when I think about this character, is like it's good, but it's good. She has this, but like she has the mix ups, but they all start off highs. Like she has the low string and overhead. Like I said, they start off high. She has the projectiles, but they're not full screen. She has the mid, but the range is not that great, and hit confirming is can end up being a little weird. And you know, she has good tools. They're just all not. You know, I think a good way to put her, a good place to put her is A plus because I don't think she has, the tools to just be up here. I honestly feel like people just think she's amazing because what she can do allows this, and what she can do is great. But I don't think overall as a character she's up here. I think her damage is insane though, and that's the only thing I would say that's insane about her. That's about it. So yeah. Then we have Smoke. Smoke is a very good character, and I feel like Smoke stocks have went up the most. I wouldn't be surprised if people start thinking Smoke's up here because people have been tapping into this character, opening up what he can do, and I applaud that. This is a character that people honestly thought was like right here when the game first came out. And he's a character that like very, very like casual players, like very low level players, they think he's like up here and he's just simply not. But I do think he has the potential to be around here, honestly. He has he kind of reminds me of like MK11 sub. That's not like the best comparison, but that's what I can think of. Like he has all these tools, but like no mids, and he has gaps everywhere too. And that's not like MK sub. MK sub didn't have to worry about the gaps, but he has gaps everywhere and everything. But I do think this character is a solid character. I feel like for how good he is, you gotta work a little bit too hard, in my personal opinion. But I do think he's good. Like I don't want people to think I don't think he's good. His stocks have went up in mine too. Like before, I was one of those people that thought he was like could be around here, but now I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he worked his way up to up here. Then we have Omni-Man, who I completely like kind of just skipped over a bit. Omni-Man is I made a video talking about how I felt about this character, so I won't get that deep into the character. You can watch the video. It's literally called "What I Think About Omni Man." He's good, but we still gotta give him some time. But I'm not gonna go into that character because I have a whole video on him. Then we have Rain. I think, of course, when the game was newer, people were saying he was like right here because Cyrax is and everything. And now the game's kind of mellowed out a bit. Cyrax is gone. I think he's like right here. At first, I thought he wasn't that good, like at all. But the meta develops, opinions can change, and I do think he's solid now. I still not a believer he's up here, but I'm definitely a believer that he is a solid, good character. Even though I don't think he's like just amazing, but I do think he is solid. Just to point that out. So yeah, his zoning solid. His 50-50s are really good. His space controls solid. He's a character that's meant to like zone you out. Not zone you out. He's meant to be a character that rushes you down and then set you up with zoning. His zone is like weird. It's like setup zoning. It's not just straight up like zoning like Reiko or something where how obvious it is like that it's good. His zoning is meant to like be tricky and kind of like you hit a combo, put the portal down or somewhere, or put the puddle on the ground and set people up. If you like intricate characters and you really want to like figure a character out and open them up, then Rain is the way to go. So now we're done talking about Rain. We have the last two characters that I put in this tier, and that is Raiden. I mean, not Raiden. We have Shao Kahn, and we have Havik. Now, Havik is one of the characters that you saw on the list I'm not that sure about. So I won't get into this character. Like, I don't even have this character. So I can't talk about this character. All I know is he's probably like my top 5 most hated. But, like, I literally don't have this character because I'm still holding back from playing the story. So I'm going to play it, but I've just been procrastinating playing the story. So I'm not going to get into Havik because I don't have this character. But I do think he is solid. So I'll just keep him right here. But he could be better. He could be worse. I genuinely don't know. I don't have the character. So yeah. Then we have Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is an amazing character. Well, not amazing, but he's a character that his stocks are going up in my eyes. There's people actually. I'm gonna put him over Rain. I think what he does is very good. I know a lot of people might not agree with this comparison, but I think he's like a baby Kenshi in a way, where he is meant to get in there and like oppress you and everything. He has the setups, the 50-50s. They're just all on him. He doesn't really. Now, I don't think the comparison is completely fair because he doesn't have a really amazing mid, but he has a mid to check you. And I feel like he's a character like Smoke that just got to work a little harder, but the tools are there. They're genuinely there. So if he ends up being up here, I won't be surprised, but I think this is a good safe spot to put him for now. So that completes the A plus tier. I think this is just a really like solid, good tier. If you like playing good characters, but you don't want to be like, all about tier, you just want a good old character you can win with, feel good about, because they're not like top tier broken or anything, I feel like this is the good tier to pick. Besides, like, I'm really not sure about Sindel now after what people are saying about her now. So yeah, besides that, that's your A plus tier. Then we have your A tier, and we're just gonna put all these characters in now. We have Raiden, we have Shang, Baraka, and Sub Zero. So Raiden, got a whole video on this character, so I won't go too deep into this character. I feel like he actually fell the most. He was like up here, but now he's like right here. I get how people can think he's still good, but I just don't agree. If you want to see more what I think about the character, go check out the video. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the tier list like, not at 40 minutes like it was last time. So, but it still might get there. But yeah, I don't want to go into Raiden. I have a whole video on him. We have Shang Tsung. I think he's. I don't think Shang Tsung. Matter of fact, this is hard because this is the only one I kind of want to change in the middle of. I think his zoning is really good. That's about it. I think his other tools are like just not that great. I feel like people overrate this character because a lot of people don't know how to deal with zoning, and he really is annoying. But like I said in my first tier list, none of my opinions have changed on him. Like I feel like he's a character that because of the stance system he has, it holds him back. If he could use like both stances in one in a way, I feel like he would be good. But they split up his tools into a way where they just don't matter. Like they're the tools are good if you could be scared of them at any time. But when you could look at his form and see what he's gonna do and know he's gonna do, I just don't personally think he's that scared. That's just me though. Like, I could be wrong on him, but I just don't think he's all that. Then we have Baraka. I feel like Baraka is another character that fell a lot. He was like before, like if you just want your easy top tier to pick up, do good with, like the Lao or the Ricos, I feel like that's what he was for those type of people before. But I don't think he's that great anymore, honestly. I think he can still get the job done, with striker assist, still gives him the stuff he had before besides the damage. But I really feel like, they kind of hit the character a little too hard. I feel like they could have just toned down his damage to where he did like 40 every touch instead of 50, and he would have been okay. But like 35, like, no. And then nerfing his best assist too, nah, he's down here. He was literally carried by a Cyrax assist. And like I said, that's why I'm so careful about this A tier, because if you're completely carried by an assist, I don't want to like just overrate the character. So yeah, I think he's right here. But he can still do some stuff. Still solid, but it's not that good. Now Sub Zero. Sub Zero went up a bit in my mind. I'm gonna make a video on this character, so I'll kind of hold some of the opinions back for this character. But I used to think this character was the worst in the game, but I don't think he's the worst anymore. The tools are simply there. They just are. And assist can save this character, but that doesn't change the fact that he is lackluster. Like all the ninjas are lackluster. But his tools are more, what's the word, potent than other low tier ninjas. So I think he's like right here. I wouldn't put him at the same level as them. I just would. So then we have Reptile. We're going to get near a beat. We have Reptile and Nitara. So Reptile is well, I kind of want to go back on Sub-Zero, but we're going to make a whole video on him. So I'll get back into Sub-Zero later. But I do think the tools are there. They're just all lackluster. Like, he has what you need to win. It's just not tuned well. Like, he needs assist. So the fact that he needs assist to do so much for him, it just holds him back. But that doesn't mean he's not decent. He's at least decent. And then we have Reptile. I think Reptile is really, really like, what's the word? Kind of like Sub-Zero in a way. Like, he has the tools. They're there, but I personally feel like he's held back also from being so freaking unsafe on everything that is good. Like, besides the low. Everything he does feels like a commitment. Like, I just learned that his overhead was unsafe. Like, recently, like, if he just does it, like, why? Why is that overhead splat unsafe? the way he plays in the mid range is just not that great to me personally. The way besides that low, the low is good and the projectile is good, but it's like I actually kind of take that back a bit. The way he plays in the mid range is fine, but it's like when he gets up close, everything's so committable. So, and people are starting to think this character's good, but I just don't see why, personally. So, then we have Nitara. Nitara is a character that I personally feel like people are starting to open up, and she is very annoying to fight, but I don't think she is all that. I feel like if she I feel like she should have unsafe 50-50s starters. Like I think she should have an overhead and low starter that are like both around 15 to 18 frames that do insane damage. I feel like she should be a character that has this crazy mobility and gets in and hits you 150-50 that can do like 40 damage. And if she guesses wrong, she dies. I feel like that's how she should be designed, but she's not designed like that. And I think her current design is just okay. Now we have Scorpion. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do this right here. Let's go ahead and do this. Z, trash, garbage, terrible, tier. Like I keep saying about the characters I made a video on, I made a video on this character. He is just not all that. Got a whole video on him. If you want to check out the video, my opinion still stands. Instead of just calling him trash, I can confidently say he's the worst character in the game. This character, nothing but gaps. No overhead, no real overhead. Low string sucks. Pressure is not good. His 2-1 is the only good 2-1 in damage is the only good thing about him. Everything else is bad. So if you want to see more about Scorpion, made a whole video on him. And that's gonna complete our tier list. Didn't hit the goal of keeping the tier list, a little lower, but I tried my best. I didn't want it to be too long, but I feel like you need to go into these characters so people understand like how you feel when it comes to the character. So that's gonna be all. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And Nickopz out.